Hi, I'm back. I want to talk about flow. Flow is tremendously important, and if we can learn to read flow and to make judgments about flow reliably, so is this flow strong? Is it weak? Is it up? Is it down? Is it sideways? What's the quality of the flow, and what's it telling us? This can be enormously helpful to a trader. In fact, you can trade almost relying on flow and the matrix and so forth as your sole guideline. I don't recommend that, but it's flow is just tremendously important if you can learn to read flow. So flow is directionality in the market. Let's see what the elements are. Flow is measured by the range of the bar. It's measured by the distance between the close and the high or low. It deals with the distance between the open and the close. It relates to the progress towards the goal of the bar within the matrix of zones. In other words, is it making progress towards the goal? And finally, we look at the relationship between the bar and the prior bars. So let's take a look at these elements briefly. So here's a bar. Let me get a drawing tool here so I can show you. Here's a bar with very, very high flow, strong, very, very strong downflow. And look, there's the open and there's the close. They're far apart. The range of the bar is very substantial. The progress of the bar in the matrix, see, it starts way up here in zone, as the top of zone 5, almost in zone 6, and it comes down all the way to the end. So it makes a lot of progress within the matrix. Its relationship to the prior bar is very, very small. This is very big. What else are we talking about? Oh yeah, the closeness of the close to the high or low. Look at this, it's very, very close to the low. Very, very close. So this bar manifests all the elements of very strong flow. It's easy to see on this chart because it's not a big deal, but it's helpful to be able to dissect the elements of flow, so you know what you're dealing with. Now let's look at some of these elements of low flow. Okay, this bar has very low flow. The distance between the open and the close is very small, right? The range is very small. It doesn't make any progress at all within the matrix. It's all within the same zone. The relationship to the bar, the prior bar, is very different. You can see quickly that by comparison, it's very low range. So, and the distance between the open and the close is virtually zip. So all the elements here are exact opposite of this bar. So this bar is manifesting low flow, bad flow, right? Static flow. But now it begins to pick up to the downside, right? We're getting, you'd have to call this still very, very, very modest flow, but it's distinctly down. It manifests directionality. So the open, the close. The range is a little bigger. It makes some progress within the zone. So if you look at each bar and begin to tease out the elements of what that flow consists, very quickly you'll get an intuitive sense of whether this flow is strong or weak. And if it's weak flow, there's a reason for its weak flow, that it's encountering support or resistance. And when we see strong flow approaching a support or resistance flow, and that flow keeps up, it can break through. If it doesn't keep up, we're in trouble. So we'll look at some more examples of flow going forward, but this is just a very, very valuable tool, and we want to know as much as we possibly can about flow and what flow consists of, so that looking at a chart we can intuitively understand the strength of the flow or the weakness of the flow.